Trajan Langdon, also known as the Alaskan Assassin, played for the University of Duke back in the late 90s. Had a brief stint in the NBA, but then later became the general manager of the New Orleans Pelicans just this year. Now, during that time in between, did Trajan Langdon invent the Alaskan Pip Assassin indicator? We actually don't know the answer to that. But what we do know is just like Trajan, with the right amount of coaching, this thing can be deadly accurate.
Stick around for my trading update at the end of the video as well. Let's get into it.
So this is an interesting one. Now, I had never heard of this up until we started doing the indicator profile series. Then we had some people in the comments mentioning it to me. Now, normally when people do that, it's a bit annoying because we already have this huge database, this huge spreadsheet between Dan and I that we draw from. And so I don't ever really take people's suggestions and put them on there. I hate to say it. But I just know from memory that this was getting mentioned a lot. And then Dan sends me an email and says, hey, what about this? Pretty good, right? I'm like, ooh, I've heard of that before from you guys. So we are excited to bring this one to you now. Before we get started, just know if you're new, please enjoy the video. But a lot of things we talk about here aren't going to make a whole lot of sense. So what you need to do, if you are the intelligent, patient type, go to nononsenseforex.com, read that first page, watch the video on that first page, and get your journey started.
Check out
This is a
VP's
brand
channel.
new way of trading Forex, completely different from anything you've seen
Pretty much
before.
the way I trade
And
is
I think you are
completely
going to like it.
from him.
But for everybody else, let's get into the specs. Now, the year this was made, we think it was 2008. This is as far back as we could really find. Now, for some of you who were familiar with this before, maybe you have more information than we were able to come up with. Feel free to go ahead and put that in the comments section down below.
I've never heard of this.
To date, we have no idea who created it or exactly when it was done.
That's a good
2008
start.
is as far back as we can find, at least, to where this thing is actually referenced. Now, this is going to be a confirmation indicator. It is going to be a very classic two lines cross. Not a whole lot of.
It'd be interesting to see how this is compared to my two-line cross, which is the Vortex indicator C1. If you haven't checked out my trading videos, you can as well. APA versus Vortex, we'll see how it goes.
Drills here, super easy to read. And my advice, not official financial advice, would be to use this more as a secondary confirmation. Just the way it's set up and how slow it typically moves, and also how to say it, like the types of results it gives you, which you're about to see. I think
Vortex
really
is
lend
C1.
themselves super well to a secondary confirmation. But that's just me. You can try it everywhere. And I think you should also try it as an exit indicator. I think it has the right makeup. You know, if anything, compare it to the Rex indicator, which we've given out on this channel before. You know, they're both two-line crosses. Put them head to head. I know a lot of you out there use Rex as your exit indicator. And that's just the free one I gave you. And you can do so much better. So for all of you out there using Rex, try this one head to head and see what happens. It might win, it might not.
Might be worth it.
So let's take a look.
Ooh. This looks a lot like a Rex. This looks almost like a mix between like a QQE and a Rex. So that's interesting. Yeah.
Especially if you're watching this on your phones, this might be a bit difficult to see. But when things cross, when the blue line crosses down, you go short. When it crosses up, you go long. You can see all this noise and how there are no crosses during this noisy period. I like that. And what's really interesting too, and this is just on the default settings, which don't even work optimally, right? But you can see when it does cross for this long right here.
Whoa, look at that. I haven't seen this before. It's so slow in that it keeps you in the trades, but it's fast in that it gets you in really early. So that really reminds me of a QQE. It really does remind me of a QQE. And it takes you out like right at the top. This would have been a false this would have been a loss right here, but I mean, come on. This thing looks decent.
early. And the same for the short right here.
This
And
is a slow
I wish I could pull up a
QQE.
crosshair right now. Now you had a missed signal here, a decent one there. This one got you in right there at that bottom. Like it has this ability, like I said, we don't try to find absolute bottoms here, but this thing cuts it really, really close.
It's
And
it's
you
it's
rarely
so
see
like a
that.
QQE.
Now you're going to see in the results though, once you tweak this, the accuracy does go way up. And so I don't know if you're going to get something that catches these tops
I
and
wonder if
bottoms.
it's on
like this
trading
does.
view.
But it was just one of those things I noticed right away when I saw it on the default setting, like you see here. And so that's really it. If you need more details on this in terms of the signals it gives you, you can always find that on the blog as usual. But we need to go ahead and get into the results now.
So it looks like for their basic tweaks, because the total number of trades went down, it looks like they slowed this thing down. So I'm going to open up TradingView and see if I can find it on there, and just kind of see what it would look like on like a larger time frame than just 1 year. Okay, so we couldn't find it on TradingView, but we'll take a look here. So this is my trades so far this week. We had 2 trades placed on Chief JPY and then Odd Chief. So we were able to get a small profit on this one, small loss on that one. I'm still in talks with Firewhite to see why my NNFX TA is only opening lot sizes for 0.01. I don't really mind it right now because I need to get my active trading days up. I think right now it's only like 10 trading days or something out of 30. I still have a few months to go on my trading time period, but yeah, I want to try and get that sorted out sooner than later. I already tried restarting everything, but for some reason it's not really working out. But yeah, other than that though, we looked at our history here so far, and we were able to catch a nice sort of run here last week. I think I closed it November 15th. Okay, so just a couple days ago. And yeah, that was a big one here. Another one right here for 173. I think that was the same trade. Yeah, 173 and then 220. So that was the 2 trades. One gets hit by the take profit level. So the 173, that was the first take profit level that got hit. And then the 220, that was the trailing stop loss that got hit. So pretty decent overall. We're up $770. I think we need to hit 1,600, I believe. So we're about halfway there now. So yeah, and I think we still have about three and a half months left. So we're on track to be doing pretty well for this challenge. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. I might try testing the Alaskan Pip indicator, Alaskan Pip Assassin indicator in a future video. Let me know if you'd like to see that. And as always, have a good day.